Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of BookTrib Live, Merrimass Media production. Today, we are very excited to welcome Debra Schildhouse. She is the author of BioTouch, Healing with the Power in Our Fingertips. Debra is a certified practitioner of BioTouch and is on the board of directors of the International Foundation of Biomagnetics. Debra has graciously agreed to give away 2 books to a couple of lucky readers, so make sure, everyone, you head over to booktrib.com after the chat, and you can enter to win by leaving your name in the comments section on the live chat page. Welcome, Debra. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, good. Let's get started. So, BioTouch. Here's the cover. Can you tell us a little of your background and how you kind of encountered the touch of healing in your life?
Well, what happened was in 1980, I happened upon a movie called Resurrection with Ellen Burstyn, and she played a hands-on healer, and I was blown away by her performance, and I was mesmerized by how she was helping people with her hands, taking away pain and disease, and I said, wow, I want to do that. So the next day I ran out to the bookstore and I found 2 books on hands-on healing. In 1980, there wasn't a whole lot available. And
Right.
so I took the books home and I studied them. And you know what? It was really hard to do what they said to do. They said I had to concentrate and I had to bring heat into my fingers. And I had to picture lights coming out of my hands and then I could heal
Oh,
somebody.
goodness.
And it was so much work. And I mean, who could do that? And I couldn't bring heat into my hands. Occasionally, yeah. And then I would try to work on friends or family if they have like a sore tooth or something. And sometimes it actually worked. But normally my hands remained cold and I couldn't do anything. And that was especially the case when 6 years ago my daughter came down with viral meningitis and she was in so
Wow.
much pain and the doctors, everything they tried, nothing was helping her pain. And I felt so helpless and hopeless and I tried to bring the heat into my fingers and touch her and it was
Yeah.
awful. It just nothing. And I knew that I had to come up with some way, some dependable way that I could help using my hand. And that's when, thank goodness, I found BioTouch. And
And what is BioTouch and how did you come across them?
so what BioTouch is actually it's the touch healing technique for everyone because it's so
Okay.
easy to learn, it's inexpensive to learn, and you're effective the very first time you try to use it. It's using these 2 fingers of each hand, and it's very lightly touching on the skin like a butterfly, very specific points on the body, and you hold the points for 6 to 8 seconds each. And it seems
Okay.
that the combination of points and specific, light touching actually encourages your body to heal itself. It brings down
Hmm.
pain levels. It brings down stress levels. It brings down high blood pressure. It alleviates all
Wow.
kinds of symptoms of disease. And so what happened was I had read an article about BioTouch like a year before my daughter got sick, and I thought it was fascinating. But I put it in a drawer of this article. I said, I'll get to it sometime. Well,
Right.
luckily, my daughter, she healed on her own. She went back to her busy life and she's fine. But I was
Oh,
completely
good.
forever changed. And I said, okay, I've got to learn more about this BioTouch. So it just happened to be the center for BioTouch happened to be here in Tucson where I live. And so I called up and they just happened to be giving their introductory classes 2 weeks later. So I couldn't wait to sign up. And the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Um, now, another family member has taken ill, that's your mother, and you've been able to use BioTouch as kind of a way to help her in her process. Can you explain a little bit about that and how it's actually benefited your life?
Oh, yes. Well, I don't have to feel helpless and hopeless anymore. If somebody's having a medical crisis or if somebody just doesn't feel good, you don't have to sit there helpless. You have some manner of control. And you can help, if nothing else, you can help them relax and breathe more deeply, which
Right.
is automatically what happens when somebody's having a BioTouch session. And unfortunately, right now, my mother is dying. She's 95 and a half, and she has various illnesses. But every day I go over there. She's in hospice now, but every day that I go over there, I do a BioTouch session on her, and she immediately starts to breathe more deeply and relax if she's agitated. And she has short-term memory loss, and it's really interesting that one of the things she always remembers is she'll go like this. I'll say, I'm doing BioTouch, and she'll go like this because these are the two fingers, and she knows BioTouch. So I feel that it'll either help her rally or it'll help her release. But
Okay.
it is helping her, and so that helps me.
Oh, good, good. Can you talk about the different kind of bodywork therapies that we're talking about here and how BioTouch can differ from any of those?
Well, the best thing about BioTouch is just like the old technique I tried where I had to concentrate. A lot of these techniques, you have to really focus. You have to sometimes breathe differently. You have to have this presence, that things are different in your mind so that you can translate it through your hands. With BioTouch, it's none of that. That's why I love it. Okay, it's easy to do, and so
Yeah.
you could be thinking, and I've done this before. You'd be thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner that night, and you could still be touching somebody and being very effective for helping them. What could be more easy, than that? And there's no
Right.
levels of mastery. You don't have to keep once you learn the basic, which is very simple, you don't have to keep learning and going up these levels. And you don't have to have any specific beliefs, no religious beliefs, no philosophical beliefs. It's just too easy, actually. That's why I love it.
Right. Okay. What's some of the research and science behind the touch healing method, and how beneficial it can be? Because I know that there is research backing it.
Actually, 3 different doctors did 3 studies in their labs. And it's interesting because they all mirrored each other. All the studies showed the same thing. That
Oh,
BioTouch does bring down stress levels, and it brings down high blood pressure, and it brings down pain levels, and it makes you feel cared for. It makes you feel relaxed.
right.
Yeah. So, and one study actually showed that it can reduce cortisol levels, which is stress, and raise the interleukin-12 levels in the blood, which that is an immune booster. So, yeah, it's in there, and it's right in here.
Okay. Now, is this something that you can practice on yourself and get the same results, or is it really better if you have someone doing this on you?
It is better if you have someone doing it. BioTouch
Okay.
it's what it is. It's a connectiveness. It's a relationship between you and the other person, and
Okay.
that's how it is designed to work. However, and I'll be honest, if no one's around and I smack my toe, or if I have a terrible headache, you better believe that yeah, I am going to be working on myself. Now, maybe it's not as
Okay.
effective if somebody else is doing it, but yeah, I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so BioTouch is a 501(c)(3), which is a nonprofit, and exists solely on donations. What made the company decide to go this route, and how successful has the method been for them?
Well, it's been very successful. In the 25-year history, they've never been in the red. And that's
Wow.
incredible because every single person in the organization is a volunteer.
Okay.
Paul Bucky is the man who he is the co-founder. He's the one who discovered BioTouch back in the 80s in a small town in Colorado. And his philosophy is so simple and so beautiful, and that is, if people ask him, well, why don't you charge for this? Because people come to the BioTouch Center here in Tucson, they can get a half-hour session for donations only. They don't. There's no charge. And people say to him, "Well, why is it that you don't charge?" And he'll say, "You can't charge people for the truth." And he feels that everybody's birthright is to be happy, healthy, and loved, and that's what BioTouch is. And so this is a teaching foundation, and so they teach classes. And now they've got classes online that you don't have to come to the center to take the classes. You can actually go on the website at justtouch.com, and you can download the entire manual for $18. Right? And I know that's incredible. Wow. And you become a member of this amazing organization, but you have the whole technique right there for $18. And the goal and the vision is that people take responsibility for their own health, and they work on each other, their friends and their family. And if that would happen all over the world, they don't have to come to any special healers. It's in everybody's hands. Then that would be the most beautiful way to have that vision play out.
Okay. Can you explain a little more of the practice that you do and maybe how you execute it? I don't know if you can maybe show us a small demonstration or just maybe explain a little more about the actual BioTouch itself.
Absolutely. So there are 17 specific sets of points. So let's say you have a simple tension headache. So what I would do is I would work, there are specific points on the back of your neck that I would very lightly touch on the skin to skin contact. And then I would work that area. Now, if you had a migraine headache, that's different. So in that case, I would actually be working on the head, the side of the head, and along the face. And we have set of points for if you have sinus issues or allergies, bronchitis, anything with the lungs, even depression. I mean, we work on the head. I've had people come to me that had broken hearts. They were grieving, and I've worked on their heart. So, the human touch is an amazing thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what made you decide after your amount of time working with BioTouch and being a part of it, what made you ultimately decide it was time to write a book?
Well, when I went to the first class, I knew I had found the right healing technique for me. And hearing the instructors talk about, the experiences that they had, I wanted to join them as a volunteer there. So to be a volunteer at the center, you actually have to take an additional class, and you have to become an intern and put in 60 hours of actual hands-on intern, But so I did that, and then I did become a certified practitioner, and I could then work on people myself there at the center. And I had been doing that for about a year, and then Paul Bucky, who I mentioned before, he's devoted his life to BioTouch. He has been an instructor and a practitioner for 25 years. So he and I were working at the center one day together, and it was a very quiet couple moments, which is unusual there. And he just said to me, he says, somebody needs to write the book about BioTouch. He said, more people need to learn about it, to learn how to do it, so that everybody all over this planet can benefit. And all of a sudden, I just felt like, wow, I could do that, In that year that I'd been working there, I had seen so many amazing things. I had so many incredible stories that I could share. And, my own growth, what happened to me as a new practitioner. I had some very unusual experiences. Most of them were wonderful and heartwarming. Some of them were very challenging for me. And so I just knew that I could write that book. And I was not a professional writer. I would write short stories for myself, just for my own pleasure over the years. But that just didn't stop me. I just knew that I had to say everything, that was inside of me. And I knew I had to also include Paul's life because he had a very unusual life. He was on a spiritual journey since he was 5 years old. And
Wow.
he was a hippie, and he lived a very, commune life with like-minded people. For 4 years, he actually lived in a stone house, 100-year-old stone house with no running water, electricity, gas, garbage pickup, nothing.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, he lived a very unusual life. And then it was unusual and interesting what happened when he actually discovered biotouch. So I knew I needed to put all his good stuff in the book. And so,
Right.
and so I wove that in with my stories and the stories of what I'd seen biotouch do. And so basically what this book is stories, and they're stories of love, of loss, of learning, of healing, and mostly of hope. To me, biotouch is hope. And that's what I really wanted to get out to people that are suffering.
Wow, okay. Um, in the book, you do talk about some tragic events that happened to you in your past. How did you use that as your inspiration? Was it simply to heal, to release it, to let other people know what happened?
Yeah, I wasn't even sure I was even going to include that, but it just seemed to go hand in hand. Two people that I love very much died 6 months apart when I was only 19 years old, and
Mm,
that was a very,
right.
devastating thing to me, and I carried that with me for a long time. And I think that that
Yeah.
was one of the reasons that I was so interested in wanting to heal people is because I had felt,
Mm,
I couldn't do anything to help those two people that I loved. And so
right.
this has been a real journey, a cathartic journey for me too. I've definitely been healed mentally, emotionally, and physically as well.
Wow. So what was your writing process like? BioTouch is something you do physically. So what was it like to put that into a written word and kind of transform it?
It was actually fun. I'm a night owl, so I would wait till the house got
Okay.
really quiet, and I would write every night from like 10 at night till 2 in the morning. And,
Okay.
sometimes I would be laughing because some of the things I said, just struck me funny. And other times, I'd be
Right.
crying. I'd be sitting there shaking. And that was the cathartic, going on during that process.
Absolutely.
But I started out trying to make this a biography, like what BioTouch is
Oh,
and what
interesting.
Paul's life was. And it wasn't working. It just, I don't know, it was kind of flat. It wasn't very fun. And then Paul actually said, you need to put your experiences in here. You need to put your voice in here. And I said, oh my God, that's it. And as soon as I did that, there it was. It just ran. It was
Wow.
perfect. So I had a lot to
Okay.
say.
How did you go about, you say you had a lot to say. How did you go about deciding what parts of it you would put in, what history of it would be used, and what is it half history, half biotouch physically, or how did you decide how to make that happen?
Well, when I was, I guess every Thursday for months and months and months, I would have Paul come over and I'd interview him and see where that was
Oh, okay.
going. And you know what? It was so fascinating because what we discovered was, we only met 6 years ago when we were both at the center, but all these years since the 70s, as I was interviewing him, I realized, and he realized, that our lives had taken parallel courses the whole way through. It was like in the 70s and
Wow.
80s and 90s, what he was doing, I was doing at the exact same point in time, but not in the same
Oh my
city. We
goodness.
didn't know each other. And so
Okay.
it was like amazing. And then of course we finally met at the Biotouch Center. So we call ourselves, soul siblings. He's like my, brother I never had.
Yeah.
And he calls me sister. We bug each other, we
Mhm.
hug each other. And it was just interesting. It just seems like we were both on this parallel path, to BioTouch. And so as
Absolutely.
I interviewed him, it just, I would just sit there and marvel. And then it was easy to write because at the end of each chapter, I would say, okay, wow, okay, so here's now how, our lives, were so parallel. So that kind of came off as a surprise, and it kind of wrote itself, and so that was fun.
Okay. Did you hit any bumps along the road or bumps in the process where maybe you you mentioned one where you just didn't know where to go, it was falling flat. Was there any other problems that you came across as you learned more about BioTouch?
No, not after that first, but I
Oh,
was already
that's
like a
good.
year into it by the time I started over and started adding my voice.
Okay.
So, because the book took 3.5 years to write. So I'm really glad there were no more
Okay.
bumps in the road.
Yeah, definitely. Um, was the end result kind of what you were expecting? Did it kind of far outweigh what you originally wanted to achieve in the beginning?
Oh gosh, yes. This is so much bigger and so much more wonderful than I even imagined. When people read the book and they tell me that already that they're excited to learn it and to help their family members, I'm just so thrilled because that's what it's for, for all the people
Yeah.
out there. And I even got an email from a lady in India, and she found the book, and she then
Oh my
went to
goodness.
the website of BioTouch website, and she downloaded the manual, and she said she's working on her mother and her son. That's what it's all about, and
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
gratifying.
So, you hold sessions at the BioTouch Center, which is located in Arizona. How does one go about finding a session or signing up for one? And are they educational? What can you expect from a session?
Well, so if you want to learn and you want to learn in person, then you can sign up for classes there at the center
Okay.
in Tucson. And if you want to come in and have a session, then you call up and make an appointment. And there are staff members there, that are volunteer practitioners, and they will work on you from
Okay.
20 to 30 minutes. And that's all lovely, but most of the world is not in Tucson. And so that's
Right.
why it's so important for people to learn how to do this themselves for their friends and family.
Okay.
Because, you just never know when somebody is going to, have an illness, an infection, inflammation, arthritis. I mean, you
Right.
can go on and on and on. And, and,
Absolutely.
and, and you can have the power and the control yourself. You don't have to call up and make an appointment with somebody. And that's the whole idea.
Definitely. Okay. Are there other books? You've written one. Do you have the itch? Is there another one you want to write, or are you already thinking about it?
It's funny you
Is
even
there
say
more you want to say about BioTouch?
it's really funny that you say that because so many people keep asking me now, well, when are you going to come
Oh,
out with the
good.
second BioTouch book? And I am getting some really good ideas on what I would like to write
Okay.
in the second book. So yeah, there's a lot more to say, and there's a lot of people who have written testimonials in a testimonial book that we actually keep at the center. And then there's
Oh,
testimonials online at the BioTouch website. And people are
okay.
they love to share what their positive experiences have been with BioTouch. And I think that
Right.
that would also be an interesting possible way to start a second book.
Definitely. Definitely. So, we've talked about this in the past, but holiday stress is coming up. People are getting overwhelmed. How do you suggest they use BioTouch to their full advantage? Maybe they can calm their nerves this season, or do you have any tips, simple methods, any suggestions for our viewers out there?
I tell you, the simplest, easiest way to do this would be to go to the BioTouch website and become a member for $18, and you can
Okay,
download the ebook, the training
simple.
manual. And there is a
Okay,
specific set of points for stress and for anxiety. And they are
Okay.
two very simple points that you would not believe how simple, and they work so quickly. When I work on somebody and I do that stress set of points, it doesn't take very long before they are sighing. And when they sigh, I sigh. It's helping them and it's helping me as well. So yeah, learn how
Mutual
to do
healing.
those couple little stress set points and you got it. You can do it anywhere. You can do it in the car, at a red light. So, you can lean over and help somebody.
Right. And hey, keep your eyes open. It could make a good Christmas gift for someone too. So
Oh,
there you go.
fabulous Christmas gift. Absolutely.
Is there anything that you would like the viewers out there to know, maybe that we haven't touched on, or just any last minute things you want people to know about BioTouch?
Well, I want to say something quickly about Curtis because Curtis, back in 1990, he came to the BioTouch site, which was in Mancos, Colorado. He was a
Okay.
74-year-old man who suffered with, it's called retinitis pigmentosa. He was blind. He'd been blind for about 6 years. It was something that the men in his family all had, like half of them suffered with each generation. And
Okay.
he started getting biotouch sessions and he could see. He was actually able,
No.
yeah, he was actually able to see again. And he wrote a
Wow.
testimonial about it. And I included the entire testimonial in my book because his words were so amazing. But he could see a mountain, then he could see a tree, and then he could see his own face in the mirror. So he
Oh my
called
gosh.
biotouch a miracle, and we can understand why.
Oh my gosh, yes. So definitely go out, grab a copy of BioTouch. Here it is again. And again, Deborah is giving away two, so you can head to the website. We are going to do a quick rapid fire because that's how we like to close out these live chats.
Okay.
Um, Writing in the morning, noon, or night, what is your strategy?
Oh, definitely late at night.
Okay. Kindle or paperback?
Oh, paperback all the way.
Do you like to go to the movies or do you like to rent and stay in?
I love to rent and stay in and get cozy and be under a blanket and just, yeah, that's what I love.
Ah, that sounds good right about now too. Cooking or baking?
Baking, love to bake.
Okay. Winter or summer?
Well, gee, I'm in Tucson, so winter is actually wonderful here. Summer's a little too hot, so we'll take
Ah,
winter here.
okay. Okay. Poetry or short stories?
Definitely short stories. Poetry is something that's a little hard for me to get, if you know what I mean. I try. It's
Okay.
tough for me.
Okay. Not for everyone, that's for sure. Deborah, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our time.
Well,
I just want to say thank you so much to joining us and for giving away the books. Make sure everyone you head to booktrib.com to enter to win. And thank you all for joining us.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.